friends, welcome to a special interview on Taranga. Today we are featuring an eminent artist. Probably people don't know this eminent artist, but he is a very accomplished and full of talent. We are going to interview Sankara Narayana, who was born in a small town in Narsapur in Andhra Pradesh. People probably know his brother, who is Bapu, who is a very famous artist as well as a cartoonist as well as a director, a film director who has made movies in Telugu, Hindi, and other languages. And so we have here with us Sankara Narayan Garu, who is going to talk about his special artistic talent, which is making portraits. So welcome, sir, to Taranga.
Namaste. Thank you very much.
Sir, can you tell us how you started this journey of making portraits? Where does this all art come into you? I mean, your brother is an artist, you are an artist.
I feel it's a God's gift. In our family, it was there. Actually, my father used to draw some as a hobby, and my brother took it as a profession. Though he is a lawyer, he became an artist. He took seriously from the age of 8 and became a famous artist. And after my degree, that is MA in 1957, I had no job. At that time, actually, I used to sit with my brother, watch his drawings, and I slowly developed that interest also.
So when you were a kid, did you draw it? Sorry to interrupt, but did you draw it when you were a little child?
No, not like that. Actually, during the school days, I used to draw records and all that. Some botany and other things, zoology and all that. For my colleagues.
So you used to do people's homework then?
Yes.
Okay.
Even in college it continued. I was an art student. I used to do records for science students and all that. And after joining, of course, service, I used to draw portraits for the college magazines and illustrations also. And in service, our All India Radio used to have their own magazines. I used to do portraits and sometimes inner illustrations also.
You mentioned that you used to watch your brother Bapu do drawings and stuff.
Yes.
So how was that experience? So how much influence does he have on your artistic style?
Actually, it is his association with him that is the main thing for me to develop art. We have to watch him draw actually. His hand literally runs while drawing. I don't know how he does with a small brush. He does so beautifully, like he brings out thin line in a brush. And I used to watch them and enjoy it. But I didn't have that capacity to do the illustrations and all that. So I have taken interest in doing portraits. I used to watch photographs and used to like them. And on the basis of the photographs, I used to draw. And I used to show it to him, and he used to suggest something sometimes.
And so you had mentioned that you took up active drawing or sketching after retirement.
Yes,
now,
madam.
What is the story behind that?
Actually, I told you after doing my MA, I haven't got the job. I have taken the interest in doing portraits once in a way. That too in charcoal I started actually literally. Because that gives a very good effect, 3D effect it will give. And then I switched over to Indian ink drawing and all. After joining a year, I did some cartoons actually, 1 or 2 cartoons. And I won a prize in a competition. So they asked me to do some portraits. I said I am not that capable. Then my brother suggested, no, you take up, we will try to help you and all that. So I did some about 10 to 12 portraits. Every week it used to come. Within that short period, they became very popular. And then I was transferred to remotest area, that is Tirunelveli. And there are some certain restrictions in the government service that we are not supposed to do things with you without permission of the government. So I thought of leaving it. Then they said, no, you have to continue. Then my brother said, I will do it. So in the same name, he continued the portraits and all that. It became very popular. I took over only portrait work. That too, especially when I was in Gulbarga, I was transferred to Gulbarga for 4 years. I was alone there. My family was at Chennai. So there is no other work. So my colleague suggested, why not you do it, sir, some portraits at least. I did some portraits, especially those days cricket matches, they were very popular cricket players.
Right.
I did about 25 to 30 portraits there when I was at Gulbarga. Actually, 25 years celebration was held in Gulbarga station.
I see.
Without my knowledge, they kept all my portraits in the exhibition.
Wow.
That was a terrible thing. Then I said,
Saying it terrible.
terrible thing, because without my knowledge, they kept it. I'm not that popular. I'm not that great in drawing. Then, since they have put it, I said I have to do something. I have to practice and at least do something. That made me.
So, listeners, you can see how humble he is. Okay, let's just show you a few of his, portraits on the slideshow now. And you mentioned that you started drawing for magazines and stuff. Do you remember what was your first portrait?
First portrait that was published in newspapers was that of P.V. Narasimha Rao.
Okay. No, what was the one that you first drew, drew? Do you remember?
I remember Winston Churchill I did. Of course, our college professors I did it. Father Murphy, Father God, they used to be foreign professors in Loyola College. I used to do their portraits.
Okay.
And I did charcoal, that is in 1960s I did it, if I am correct. That is a very good drawing. Even till today I treat it as one of my best drawings.
That was Winston Churchill's.
Winston Churchill and Mayakovsky and Hemingway. And I did a croquille pen, Marshal Tito. That's a very detailed thing, small lines and all that. Actually, these are the 4 things which brought me job in AR.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's hear that story.
Actually, I went to AR interview. My mother was insisting that somebody should be a government servant. I was jobless for 7 years after MA. So what to do? 25 years is the maximum limit, age limit was there. So luckily I got the interview. I went there. When I went there, actually people came, very famous people like Kalpudi Martharao, Sankara Narayana. They all came with me for the interview. They are having so many books in their hands. I am not having anything. I don't know anything about Telugu literature because I was in Madras. I studied in Madras and all that. And music also I don't know anything. When I went for the interview, they asked all the questions about music, dance, and I said, nothing, sir, I don't know anything. Then at least, what is your hobby? That's what Mr. Narayana, chairman, was there. He asked me. I showed these 4 portraits. He was damn impressed with the portraits. And he said, I questioned him actually, in what way it will be useful to you for AIR? He said, no, you can become a good administrator, don't worry. From then onwards, believe it or not, I did only administrative work from 32 years in AIR.
So when you were in service, did you ever draw or did you sketch?
Number of portraits I did. I did for AIR magazines. And some magazines, 1 or 2 here and there I did it.
Okay.
Of course, family members that I used to draw and all.
So you've drawn many personalities, you have drawn many famous people.
Yes.
Have you ever drawn a common man?
Yes, some I did, man. Some, actually a farmer during drought areas. He used to look at the sky with a empty heart and all that. That I did, I remember. And another one, my portrait used to be published in Navya Weekly regularly. One person from village called me, sent a letter, called me and told me, requested me to draw his father's portrait, which he was not having. Only a photo taken at the time of deathbed. I felt a bit worried whether I can draw it or not. But there is a hope because he is asking, let me try, and I did it with open eyes. I did something like that and sent it to him. He was so impressed that that's my thrilling experience. He was very happy with the portrait and all that.
So you made a man happy. I mean, other than just a common man happy in terms of trying to give him his father's portrait.
If anybody says seeing my portrait, if they say it's very good, then I feel thrilled. That's the most important.
Well, an artist requires appreciation and recognition. So the other question I had was something more with respect to your portraits. Do you always draw on A4 size paper, or have you drawn like bigger portraits?
No, madam. Only A4 size I take, because that's the only size. I take the photograph. I take the required size of the photo and take an outline and then draw it.
So if you have a photograph, if you want, you enlarge it.
Enlarge.
Okay, and then you from
the
that
outline only I will take. Then
okay, and then you'll start. So what are the mediums that you normally use for your sketches?
The beginning, actually, I used to draw with Indian ink. Then I switched over to charcoal, and now at present I am doing only pencil portraits. That too, I use 2B pencil, maximum pencil I use 2B, and do it immediately after doing the portrait. My children will scan it and preserve it.
So you have recently created a record of making 1,800 portraits in a span of
yes,
I don't know
12. After retirement only I have taken it as a hobby, and
right.
Literally, to tell you frankly, it's my missus who is responsible for all these things. She used to say, why are you sitting quiet and all? You know some art, why not you develop it? We don't want any money. Just for mental satisfaction, you do something. And so saying, in 2003 she died. I took it as an order and I did it. Literally, every day I do a portrait.
So how long does it take you to draw a portrait?
Earlier it used to take 4 to 5 hours. Now it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Is it the difference is because of the medium or?
No, just that interest, and I have developed that.
You've become an expert at it now.
No, I don't call myself.
So you've drawn so many portraits, and when you look at the portraits, there is life in them. So what is the most important feature? How do you bring that life into it? What's the first feature that you think is important for the portrait?
For a person, eyes are very important. Important factor in the man's face. I take that into consideration. First I draw eyes only. If I am satisfied with the eyes, then only I will continue. Otherwise I will tear it off and do it again.
Okay.
So many people say it's your portraits will give life.
Right, there's full of life in it.
Actually, one example I will tell you. My first exhibition was held at Chitrakala Parishad, Bangalore. Sankara Narayana, one chief secretary, he was the chairman of the Chitrakala Parishad also. He said, our business is to do regular exhibitions. But this is the one exhibition which I like it very much. Because for every portrait, I used to go and stand there and watch it. As though I used to feel as though I am talking to him. That is the impression I had. About 300 portraits, they kept excellent exhibition. That was 3 days they kept it. That is that eyes are, even my brother says, your eyes speak. That's what he used to say.
Alright, so let's show our viewers some of the eyes that you have drawn, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about some of the traits that you'd put in your portraits. Mentioned something earlier that you got some advice from your brother when you're drawing portraits. So if you can tell that to our listeners.
My habit is every week I used to show my portraits. They themselves used to ask, Ramana and Bapu, both used to ask me, what are the things you have done during this? I used to show them. They used to point out, this is like that, you have to change it. And my brother is very particular. Try to avoid shades as far as possible. Take profiles as far as possible. And especially when you draw a lady, don't draw wrinkles. They want to look handsome always.
So you follow that?
Yeah, normally I follow.
Okay.
Because I used to, for other things I used to say I require shades because my portraits want shade only. Only then it will give effect.
Right.
Whereas my brothers is minimum line, maximum effect. Because that's my, I used to take his drawings to different magazines. They used to say, why he charges so much for a small line like this? I said, that is the effect is there, man.
Right. So, what has been the most difficult portrait that you have ever done?
That is, I used to feel difficult when I draw charcoal portraits, man.
Okay.
Because slightest mistake spoils the whole portrait. Because it will give 3D effect. Especially Churchill, I think I took whole day. It took me slowly because we use only the charcoal powder, cotton. That's all. Not even pencil.
Oh, okay.
Cotton, though I used to shade it.
So you just used to draw an outline and then start.
Just put with a paper. We put that charcoal powder. Slowly shade, just like wash drawing. I used to do. Only thing is, preservation is very difficult. But I used to. And another thing that Marshall Tito, that also took me along because smallest lines, with all lines, complete face lines. That I took. The other things, ladies, of course, ladies' portraits, normally I take more time.
Because you have to make them more beautiful?
Not only beautiful, otherwise. And hair is there, isn't that?
Right.
Right, is it? And charcoal portraits, we got excellent that hair. My son used to say, you are an expert in hair
drawing
and all.
So, sir, I have another question. So, whose portrait did you tear up most number of times because it didn't come out well? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly. Because when somebody asks me to do a portrait, then comes the problem. Unnecessarily tension will be there.
Okay.
Otherwise, I will do easily. I can easily manage. When somebody asks me, then I have to think twice, thrice, and then because they should not point out. Because, for example, I tell you, I drew a portrait of Dr. A. Nageswara. I did his portrait and took it to him for an autograph. He said, see, Babu, I keep only your brother's drawing. I don't keep anybody's drawing. No, sir, just still, you kindly go see to it and tell me. Then said, the drawing is very good, but there is some, my head is slightly bigger than this one. Can you make a change and do it? I did it and gave it to me. He wrote an excellent, I will keep it, I preserve it as a Nageswara. 2 years back I did.
Okay.
And Kummadi Venkateswara, I did a portrait of him. He said, this is excellent. He called me to his house and he said, excellent. Why not you do another portrait? He took me to his room and showed me a portrait. I did it and gave it to him.
So you have many experiences like this where you have sent the picture to a subject, whichever has been a personality. So can you tell us some of the reactions?
Till today, I must have sent about 400 portraits to different people. Normally, I send 2 portraits with a covering letter. I say, this is, I am a retired person, senior citizen, doing as a hobby. And I am sending 2 portraits. If you are happy with it, kindly keep 1 copy as my humble present. The second one, you may autograph with your comments. And Amitabh Bachchan wrote an excellent letter, man. He said, wonderful portrait it is. I keep it as your portrait occupies an important place in my drawing room. That's what he wrote. And recently I sent all their family members, Aishwarya Rai, and all the 3 people signed again and sent it to me. And another thing is, Professor Anantamurthy, you must have heard about. He is the chairman of the Film Federation. I sent a letter to him, portrait and all that. There he wrote, I treat your portrait as an ideal in my life. I couldn't understand what it was actually. Then I was told he always used to be very serious. I made him as...
You made him smiling.
Smiling.
Okay. So you said that...
R.K. Lakshman is another great thing, ma'am. I did his portrait, sent it to Times of India. I don't know his address. They sent it to me. Immediately next 3 days, morning 8 o'clock, I got a call from him. He said, I am thrilled by seeing your portrait. I'm equally happy that you're brother of Bapu. I'm his fan. And that's what he told me. And he said, I'm having cramps, so I am not able to write. That's why I'm giving you a ring. Tomorrow I will sign it and send it. I told my brother, he said, this one is enough for you. Such a great man.
Sending you, calling you, and you just mentioned that about Mr. Anant Raman or Ananthamurthy. You said Ananthamurthy. That he said he's normally serious, Professor Ananthamurthy, but you made him smiling. So the picture that you used, was it a smiling picture or was
serious picture?
So that's what I want to ask you now. So
sometimes I will change it.
So how do you bring about when you put a smile on a serious? So how does the facial features? How do you bring about?
Only with mouth only I have to make him.
Okay.
That slight change in the this one we can make him smile.
I see. So so some of your pictures have also been published as part of books and magazines. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I did number of portraits for Catalyst magazine that used to come from America. There I did almost all great social latest who are doing social service actually.
Okay.
They used to do it. They used to send me the portraits. I used to draw and send it to them. Hila Bhatt, like that, great people. After that, there are two magazines from Madras. They are Shruti and Samudra. They are completely dedicated to classical music, dance and fine arts. They regularly they ask my portraits. Sometimes I myself will send them. They will publish it and all that. And some later Telugu magazines, Andhra Pradesh, Shruti, and Navya, all those magazines.
You also have another book called Hasya Rekhalu in Telugu.
That was my first book published. Dr. Prasad Reddy Garu. I drew his portrait and gave it to him. He was so happy. He said, "What is your ambition?" I want to bring some of my portraits in a book form. Then he said, "I will do it." And he did about 40 cartoonists, 40 comedians and 40 light music artists. And that's the thing.
So, sir, thank you so much for coming to our studios for this interview. I have one last question. And you took up this hobby seriously after retirement, at an age where most people don't want to do anything, right? And but what you have shown is that anybody can start a new thing, whether it's a hobby or whatever it is, at any age. There is no age limit as such. So what's your advice, to people who want to take up sketching, or what would you tell them, when they want to take up any hobby for that matter?
God has given one good thing. Every person will have a talent in him. Every person. That they should find out, and then try to develop it. That's my sincere advice to all youngsters also. They should not. Somebody likes singing. They just like that. They leave it. They should not leave it there. Okay, give some time for it. That will help you in the later stages. As after retirement, actually, I did 1800 portraits, which I think I doubt whether I did it or not.
Well, sir, congratulations on that record, and thank you for giving us time on Tharanga.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be interviewed at Tharanga.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.